Friends, gather round because we need to talk about Donald Trump's latest brainwave. You know how he loves a good real estate project, right? Well, he's set his sights on a fixer-upper of epic proportions, the Gaza Strip. That's right, folks, the former president thinks he has the solution to one of the world's most intractable conflicts, and it involves bulldozers, relocation plans, and a healthy dose of magical thinking. Trump's vision, if you can call it that, is to have the United States swoop in and essentially take over Gaza. We're talking boots on the ground, folks. His plan then involves relocating the 2 million Palestinians currently living there. Don't worry though, he's got it all figured out. He wants to build a glittering Riviera of the Middle East in its place. Imagine casinos, luxury condos, and presumably a few well-placed Trump towers. Because nothing says peace and prosperity like a gilded monument to your own ego. Now, you might be wondering what the Palestinians themselves think about all of this. Well, Trump seems to believe that they'll be thrilled. He's suggested that they only stay in Gaza because they have no other choice. It's a classic case of if you build it, they will come, except of course no one asked them if they wanted to leave in the first place. But here's the kicker, folks. This isn't some harebrained scheme he cooked up in his bathrobe at 3 a.m. He actually seems to believe it'll work. He's touted the economic benefits, claiming it will create jobs and bring prosperity to the Middle East. It's the Trump playbook in action. Promise the world, ignore the experts, and hope for the best. So, how has the international community responded to Trump's grand plan? Let's just say it hasn't exactly been met with open arms. In fact, the response has been more akin to a collective slap in the face. World leaders, human rights organizations, and pretty much anyone with a basic understanding of international law have lined up to denounce it.
Let's start with the legal side of things, shall we? Relocating 2 million people against their will and seizing control of their land. Yeah, that's a big no-no in the eyes of international law. It's a violation of Palestinian rights on a scale that's hard to fathom. It's like trying to steal your neighbor's car, giving them a bicycle in return, and then claiming you've done them a favor.
And the opposition doesn't stop there. Saudi Arabia, a key player in the region, has flat-out rejected the plan. They've made it clear that Palestinian statehood is non-negotiable. Jordan and Egypt, countries that have borne the brunt of previous Palestinian displacement, have also made it clear that they're not interested in playing host to another mass exodus. It seems even they, with their less-than-stellar human rights records, can recognize a humanitarian disaster in the making.
But amidst this chorus of condemnation, there's one voice singing a very different tune. Step forward, Benjamin Netanyahu. The former Israeli Prime Minister, a man who knows a thing or two about controversial policies, has actually expressed interest in Trump's plan. He called it potentially history-changing, which, knowing Netanyahu, is either a ringing endorsement or a thinly veiled threat. It's like asking a fox to guard the henhouse and then being surprised when he calls it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Now, you might be tempted to dismiss Trump's Gaza plan as just another example of his, shall we say, unconventional thinking. But here's the thing, folks. This isn't just some off-the-cuff remark. It's actually disturbingly consistent with America's long and often disastrous history of foreign intervention.
Remember Iraq, Afghanistan? Yeah, those were fun times. The parallels are almost too eerie to ignore. In both cases, the US went in with guns blazing, convinced they could impose their will and reshape these countries in their own image. And in both cases, the results were catastrophic. Instead of peace and prosperity, we got chaos, instability, and a whole lot of dead bodies.
See, the thing about nation building is that it's a lot harder than it looks on paper. It's like trying to assemble a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle while blindfolded and riding a unicycle. You might eventually get a few pieces to fit, but chances are you're going to end up with a mess. And that's precisely the risk we run with Trump's Gaza plan. It's based on the same hubris, the same arrogance, and the same fundamental misunderstanding of the complexities on the ground that have led to so much bloodshed in the past. It's like watching a toddler try to play with a chainsaw. You know it's going to end badly, you just don't know how much damage they're going to do before someone takes it away. But let's move beyond the geopolitical ramifications for a moment, shall we? Because at the heart of Trump's Gaza plan lies a deeply disturbing disregard for the human cost. We're talking about uprooting 2 million people, folks. Men, women, children. Families who have already endured unimaginable hardship. And for what? So that Donald Trump can build a few golf courses and slap his name on some luxury hotels?
The forced displacement of the Palestinians is a tragedy that stretches back generations. The Nakba of 1948, when hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were expelled from their homes, is a wound that still festers today. And Trump's plan would be like pouring salt directly into that wound.
Imagine, if you will, being told that you have to leave your home, your community, everything you've ever known. Imagine being herded onto buses and trucks, your possessions crammed into whatever bags you can carry. Imagine the fear, the uncertainty, the despair. That is the reality that Trump's plan threatens to unleash.
And for what? A flimsy promise of a brighter future? A chance to live in a Trump-branded paradise? It's a cruel joke, folks. A recipe for disaster on a colossal scale. And the worst part is, it's a disaster that's entirely preventable. So, there you have it, folks. Trump's Gaza plan in all its grotesque glory. A plan that's illegal, immoral, and downright dangerous. A plan that would make a terrible situation infinitely worse. It's a reminder that even though he's no longer in office, Trump's capacity for chaos remains undiminished, and it's up to us, the rest of the world, to say no, to stand up for what's right, and to prevent this madness from becoming a reality.